Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Mariam from Another Book Thought, and I'm here today to wrap up some of my reading booktubers' favorite books on mental health. The sun is gonna come in and out. I tried to get the best timing, but yeah. So we're gonna go through quite a few books, and I thought instead of doing a normal wrap up, I found themes in this book that I could relate to, so I think I'm going to talk from my own experience about them and what they kind of spoke to me about. Let's just go with it. Let's see what happens. But first of all, I'm still with Docs Newburyport. I think I'm going to keep the series for as long as the recommendations come, so I'm going to have more time to go through this one. But I think I'm about like 300 pages, but you know, it's 1,200, so we could be doing better. I am finding one thing very interesting about this book towards my own mental health is that I'm having a couple, as I said, rough months, and this is a voice that I am enjoying, even though she's a very anxious voice. This is a stream of consciousness of a woman just going through a lot of anxieties, day-to-day life anxiety, politics, motherhood, everything you can imagine. And it seems it would seem it could be the other way around, but I actually find myself really enjoying spending time with her. It's like she makes me forget a little bit about my own anxieties, if that makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna see how this one goes, but I just wanted to quickly update you on this one. And now we're gonna go on to the books that I have actually finished. I have a couple of more, but I'm just gonna put these ones today, which is from the first video. I'll link it down below so you can see which booktubers recommended this one, and yeah, a little bit my first impressions when I picked them up. So this is All My Punny Sorrows, which I love the cover, by Miriam Taus. I know she has another book that was very popular about women. I'm not sure what is Heads of Women, I think. I'll link it down up. But this is very different from what I expected. So this is a fiction, and it follows two sisters. Both of them are very different, and with the narration of one of them, we come to see why, like, how each of them have come from childhood to where they stand now. But the most important thing about this book, I think, is that it brings up this important matter that I haven't seen talked about a lot in other books, because I feel it's very uncomfortable and people don't like it, don't like to, you know, talk about it. And it's the right you have to choose if you want to live or die. When, you know, we've talked about euthanasia a lot, when you have a severe damage in your physical well-being, and you know, there's been a lot of debate about should somebody choose to leave, carry on, if they know that, you know, there's nothing else to be done. But we never talk about that in mental health, and we do know that in mental health a lot is genetics, and a lot is like I do, have a chronic depression. So it's it makes you question why can somebody who is day after day fighting with her, well, it's growing here, her own mind, not have the power to decide, you know, I don't want to continue with my life. So as I said, it is a very some I guess uncomfortable issue to talk about, but I think it is necessary. And I don't want to spoil a lot about how what the book goes into, but I did find that Taos has a very it is a very dark matter, and still she had the capability of writing with it's not humor, just the relationships you see, they talk normally. There's never with that, you know, sister bonding, that humor. There's never darkness just because it wants to be dark, you know, unrequested darkness. I did do a very in-depth review of this, as I said in my Instagram, but I gave it a 5 out of 5. I mean, I think it goes into places that I myself have thought, I mean, the will to keep going or not, and I understand that, you know, it's necessary for voices to question that. Why do we keep fighting when, you know, maybe we don't see the end and we're tired, you know? So that's that. That one was very good. It's fiction, as I said. Now we're gonna go up into plays. So I'm not gonna wrap up this one very much, because I actually want, this was Katie, Kieran from Katie Books choice, and I would love to have a conversation with him at some point. Let me know if that's something you would be interested about, us doing a video about this book, because I have absolutely adored Sarah Kane. It is plays, but just as a trigger warning, it is very, very dark, very grotesque, but I think it's a grotesque that it needs to be that way. It needs that very, sometimes highly uncomfortable imaginary that she uses. But I've never seen a depiction of somebody with depression and, you know, the ambivalence of wanting to live, and at the same time you don't want to die but you don't want to stay as you are. And it also dwells into how hypocrisy in the world, so she uses that very exaggerated images to go into that. It talks about race. My favorites were Skin and her famous 448 Psychosis, but I actually loved all of them. It is, as I said, a read that may not suit everybody, but I absolutely adored it, and I really want to get in depth about them. So yeah, again, let me know if you want that. So we're up to two memoirs I'm going to talk about, which I don't have in physical. I think both at the same time too. It's gonna make sense because they're both about alcoholism. One is Lit by Mary Karr. This is not a usual redemption story of alcoholism. I also have done an in-depth review on my Instagram of this one too, but it's not a redemption story of, yes, I'm alcoholic and then this happens and I went to AA and this happened. Is actually Mary Karr, which I already thanked Alex from What Page Are You On, because she introduced me to her pen, which is amazing. She starts off with this prologue, which is a letter to her son, which is he's grown up, and it's a kind of letter letting him know, I'm going to tell you all this story, how maybe to allow you to free yourself from the luggage that me and meaning the author and even her family before her have put upon the kid. Well, not a kid anymore. So by using that, she is able to give a deeper layer to all of the memoir, and she's able to go into motherhood, how the alcoholism has affected that relationship at the beginning and when the son was born. So it lets you talk about that. It lets her talk about her own family, which the parents relation towards consumption, which they also had a problem. it lets her delve into her marriage. So it's a very good device, let's say, the letter opening, to explore more than just her as alcoholic, as a person suffering from alcoholism. Also, one of the themes that I found very moving, and I haven't seen in a lot of other alcoholism memoirs, is addiction memoirs, is how her relationship with writing, how the skill of writing, she uses it for to talk about class. She uses it to talk about how books have connected her to, for example, her mom, which that's the only way. It connects her with how the failure of feeling or not like a writer has also been part of, all the addiction, and how she actually sometimes alcohol it's a pretty important soberness or drunkenness, how it's important towards her skill as a writer. So it talks a lot about writing, and I found that very, I hope I'm making sense. I don't know, but I found it so moving how writing, most of all, that feeling of failure, which we all have, and that makes, it's like the fish that it's always, in Spanish is another word, but it's like it feeds, the addiction to feeling a failure, to the writing, to I'm not enough to be a poet, I'm not enough. I just think really it's amazing how she talks about so many themes. Lastly, she also talks about religion and spirituality, which I am not religious, and it did not affect me at all. She doesn't try to impose her ideals to you. But what I loved about Mary Karr, and I'm going to really read her previous, about her childhood, The Liars Club, is how sharp and, sarcastic her tone can be towards herself, and she always holds accountable. She knows all that she's done wrong, and it's just a very, it's not like the next memoir I'm going to talk about. It's not maybe a laugh out loud situation. It's just the way she makes sharp, witty, sarcastic remarks. It makes the theme be a much more easier to go through. So yeah, I highly recommend this memoir. I don't give stars to memoirs because I think it's, they're memoirs, but if you're looking for a well-written memoir, then I highly recommend. Then the next one, it's also a memoir, and I wanted to love this one. I did not like it, but I think Lit spoiled me. So this is Lost and Wonder from Augusten Burroughs. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, I'll put it there. And I think one of the things that I did wrong with this one is I didn't read his previous memoirs, which are Running with Scissors and Dry. So he talks a lot, not a lot, but he does make remarks in the book about his childhood, which seemed very interesting, but he never goes into it because I guess he thinks you've already read the other ones. But yeah, Carly wanted me to read this one, so this is the one I read. It's separated in 3 relationships he has, and like chapterized in 3 relationships, and it's a book that I found very good towards. Well, it also deals with alcoholism, but I didn't see that sense that much explored. Maybe Dry it does. I found more the feeling of not wanting to be alone, themes like anxiety and like how we boycott ourselves when we think we're not enough, staying in relationships because, we're scared to be alone, also being scared of some people because we feel they might, like not getting intimate to people we think might one day not be there anymore. So it does explore very interesting themes, and his voice is funny. I mean, he's a funny guy. I wish it was a little bit deeper. Um, Not emotional. I'm just saying exploring a little bit more. That's why I think I have to read the other two. So yeah, this one, I encourage you to pick up the previous ones, and maybe, I don't know, if I do, I'll report back how that goes. He does, I do think he has this humor thing that he uses to kind of make fun of himself, because I do that a lot. You make fun of yourself in order to things that are very, very uncomfortable for you, or that can be dark towards society, to like downsize it a little bit. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's what I thought. So those are the two memoirs I read, and we're gonna go lastly, but it's an absolute lastly, but not because it's not good. It's just, this was amazing. So this is Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. I think everybody has read this one. But yeah, this is a beautiful, I think it's autofiction. Sorry, the lighting just went, but maybe it's because this is gray, so yeah, we're gonna go with it. So this is I think it's autofiction. First of all, let's start saying that Ocean Vuong, as a lot of you may know, he's a poet. So this is not a poetry collection, but it is written by a poet, and you can see that. I don't want to say any quotes that I underlined, because I found this, it was beautiful finding those quotes myself, and I don't want to take that away from you, I guess. I think each quote calls people for different matters, but I am gonna say this is an open letter to, well, it's a letter to her mom, his mom, who doesn't speak English, who can't read, and it's a letter from Little Dog, which is how they call him, to his mom. Also his mom, and I believe his grandma, grandpa, yeah, it's a letter to his family. And it does explore a lot of motherhood, as it's seen, but what really called with me, and today I was writing on Instagram, is how he talks about the trauma immigrants can go through. I am a daughter of Iranian immigrants, and as the next generation, I've been affected by my parents having lived through a war and a revolution, and so he does talk a lot. There's this image where he imitates, well, this part where he imitates explosion, and the mother gets like very scared, and you can see how the trauma is there of what she's gone through. Also, it is about sexuality. It is about addiction. It is about what we lose. It has this very, it is a sad book, but it's about so many little themes of when we're growing up, and the immigrant story is the main one, but also how he goes through his friends at that time, he's finding his sexuality at that time. And one thing that I loved about this book, that I don't think I can really compare to any book I've read, is there's a part where there's a moment when somebody dies, and I haven't seen a scenario described with such love and such tenderness and beautiful. It's just, yeah, it talks about so many stuff. I really think you should pick this one up. I mean, everybody talks about how emotional it is. It is emotional. I cried, which I don't usually do on books. And even I'm gonna try to insert it, but I was reading it and a butterfly came and sat on it. And if you've read this, you'll know. So I felt a connection with this one a lot. I don't think I made a lot of sense, but yeah, it's about trauma, it's about immigration, it's about sexuality. It deals with addictions and yeah, everything you may want put in a beautiful pen of a poet. So yeah, really. So that's the ones that I've done already. I'm done. I am also done with a couple more, but I won't feature them here because it's already 20 minutes. But I am gonna say I did take a little bit of a stop on my reading because I am doing my psychology exams in 2 weeks, and it was just so much about psychology and mental illness. So I picked up some short stories and some fiction that is about mental health actually, but in a more approachable way than some of the ones that are coming are. So yeah, guys, I hope it made sense. I'm sorry the video is so long, but let me know your comments down below if you want me to talk a little bit more about a book. Let me know if you want me to talk about Sarah Kane and how much I love her with Kieran. And that's about it. Thank you for watching again, and thank you guys. Bye.